In this episode of Detroit Performs, a band personifies Americana. A jazz musician. And a festival celebrates Latino arts and culture. It's all ahead on this edition of Detroit Performs.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Detroit Performs. I'm your host, DJ Oliver, coming to you from the Carr Center Gallery on Woodward in Detroit. And I'm thrilled to be bringing you an episode that is chock full of some great music. First up is the Flutter Wow, whose Americana and honky-tonk sound are sure to get your feet stomping to the beat.
Sing your song, drink your drink, hang with a friend that fall in love with everything you think.
It's very fun to be in a collection of people that are so multi-talented.
We have like this rootsy, almost like a southern sound, you know, but it's right here in Detroit.
I said, take me home, for the devil runs this ship on the wrecking store.
It's very non-offensive music. It's easy to grasp, it's easy to get inside.
I think that's the appeal, is that it's easy and it's fresh.
We have a really good time, and it's like playing with your friends and making music.
If you can find a group of people that you're comfortable with, you can feel you're yourself with, that's like half the battle. And then when you get to, you know, they're talented on top of it, and then you get to create music and that people enjoy, I mean, that's just a great thing.
Take me back, Josephine.
The Flutter Wow is a term that goes back to vintage record listening to begin with. The band was formed in 2011, technically. My husband and I started as a writing project.
I knew she was a great singer, and she had been in metal bands prior. And I wanted to do something, some type of music where her voice could really shine and really be heard.
You got to let your soul shine. It's better than sunshine. Oh,
I have always been drawn to Americana music, but I've not always been brave enough to do Americana music. So I grew up in Detroit, and I am a person of color. And I don't know if anyone knows anybody that looked like me doing this kind of music 15 years ago, but it really wasn't done. But I always loved Lucinda Williams, I always loved Randy Travis, I always loved Alison Krauss, and I always wanted to experiment with that kind of music, but it wasn't until I met Brian that I really kind of got the guts to do it.
She gets a chance to be very dynamic, interact with the crowd, and her personality really gets to shine through.
just so you know, I still care. I hope you grow back all that beautiful hair, baby.
Well, one of my goals is to connect with the audience, to make them feel like they're part of the experience. Kind of almost like when you go to church and you feel like you connected with something higher and among each other. Like that's kind of like what I want people to feel when they come to the shows. We're playing almost everything off of Urban Prairie, which is our record, and a bunch of bluegrass traditionals, which we love to do because they're just a riot. They're good dancing songs.
Good old Rocky Top Tennessee.
Everyone that plays in the band is just simply amazing. I'm surrounded by the most loving and extraordinary musicians that I know. A lot of people think of Americana as honky-tonk, really simple song structure, kind of simple lyrically. It's not really like that. It's some really extraordinary music. Rebecca, who's on fiddle with us, she is an incredible composer and arranger. She runs an incredible quartet, also of her own, and you can hear her tonight ripping it up on these bluegrass numbers. Ken, who's the musical director of the group, he plays like 5 instruments. He plays upright bass and sings like perfect pitch. Nobody plays upright bass and sings like that.
Don't cheat on me with biscuits with jelly sweet and blue. Just keep it in that place where you know we'll be true. Keep it in your pantry.
My husband Brian, he plays like 12 instruments at least. He's an engineer, he's a great singer, he's a guitar god. He's just great, and he's very handsome.
Sometimes you've gotta take it slow and it gets you where you want to go.
Brandon's like the epitome of this style of music. I mean, he sounds like everybody we want to be. He really pays attention to what's going on musically and lyrically and plays to enhance that.
Hey, come on, people, talk.
I've had to master, they call it the train beat, you know, where it's like, you know. So that's probably the one thing that I'm the most proud of, I guess, is that, you know, I've been able to kind of wrap my brain around that.
Build you up just to break your heart.
I'm a pretty philosophical person, and so are the other songwriters in the group. We have a really fruitful songwriting team.
It's fun playing stuff that I've written and co-written and to bring that to life and see people singing along to it. That's what I guess fulfills their soul musically.
We have people that we barely even know come up to us and exchange their experience based on what they've heard in our songs. It's really a deep interchange of feelings, of emotions, of experience that you would never have on that level with people.
Anybody's goal as a songwriter is you're just trying to convey emotion, and it's a release for the songwriter to write it, and hopefully it's a release for the listener, and there's some sort of connection there between the two.
It's like, wow, we do have this mutual experience together. You know, it's a really amazing thing how you can help soothe another person's soul, how you can help another person through their life experience with music.
If I can't change, but baby,
This last year has been really tumultuous for all of us, actually. We've arranged a couple of songs during this time, which I'm super stoked about. We're going to be playing one tonight. It's one that Brandon wrote. It's called Feel That Fire, which is like, the harmonic tension in it is like so gorgeous. You can just hear what's been happening the last year and a half, and it's so cool.
oh, I wanna feel that fire. I wanna see the sparks between us fly.
This song tonight that I'm doing is just about, you know, a couple that's struggling and they want it to work, and so it's about trying to rebuild a relationship. When we hit the bridge in the song, Tasha kind of goes off and does this like a vocal run, and it was really kind of cool because to me now, it might not to other people, but it almost had like a Middle Eastern feel to it.
We're obsessed with harmony. We're all rhythm and harmony junkies in this band.
It's kind of a high. There are musicians I've seen where it transforms them, and you see that, and it makes you want more.
It might go by in an instant, but you know, we just have our ears open and can hear, oh, there's a hole here, so that's maybe where I should go. Sometimes somebody else goes into that hole, so then you got to move back, and you know, that's the kind of thing that happens.
I guess you live for that. Those are the moments we hope for, and it's what keeps us going to the next gig.
I think that good music can move anybody. I'm just trying to write from an honest perspective, and I hope that people like it.
Of temptation and salvation. Temptation and salvation.
You can learn more about the Flutter Wow, as well as all the artists we feature on DetroitPerforms.org. Now it's time to sit back and enjoy the smooth jazz sounds of award-winning songwriter Marvin Thompson Jr.
Songwriting gives you a voice where you may not be so quick to speak, but your art lets people know what it is you're saying. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, on the northwest side of Detroit. I think it was just born with the love of music and just figuring it out and how it all works together. I think I wrote my first song when I was about 15 years old. I think songwriting gives me the opportunity to speak on things that I probably wouldn't speak on in a conversation with someone, because I'm not a huge talker. So songwriting is kind of an outlet, because I get to say a lot of things, good things, but things that I probably wouldn't normally say through music. So I think that's the one very positive thing about music or any art form, is that it gives you an outlet to do what you like to do in a different way. I would say smooth jazz would probably be the closest category, and I love, of course, venturing out into all styles of music. I really like positive music and positive lyrics. I think if you're breathing and alive, something should inspire you. Whether it be about, love, a job, moving on, exploring something new in your life, I think all that has a positive tone to it. So I think, it kind of comes out in my songwriting. I will be performing at Greater Southern Church. I'm actually the music director there. It's a great place, a lot of wonderful people there. So I felt a real connection to do the concert there tonight. I enjoy hearing other people perform my music, because sometimes they can give you a spin on it that you hadn't thought of, or take it in a totally different direction. So that's always exciting for me, even when I'm working with, different vocalists, just to hear what they do with the song, or say a musician's interpretation of my song, is really fun.
If you had $1 million, what would you do?
I have quite a few musician friends, a few of them that will be performing with me tonight. On bass guitar, I have Jason Phelps. On drums, I have Marquise Johnson. And on saxophone, I have Michael Elder. There was a musical I wrote a few years back, and I'll be doing a song from there. The musical was entitled City Square, and it wasn't based on Detroit in theory, but it could be taken that way, because it was about a city that was going through Renaissance and Reconstruction. I think that kind of ties into what we're going through here right now in Detroit. There are a lot of positive things happening, a lot of new things being built. People still hold sentiment to some of the older things, but I think as musical, I think it all can kind of work together, and we can find a marriage of, both the old and the new. One song I'm going to play is entitled The 24th Concept, and that song was from the musical I wrote, City Square. We're doing quite a few from the new album. We're doing a song, the title track from the album is called Kind Words, and Kind Words is a song we're going to play, and it's an instrumental piece, but I like people to think of that song as, think of what you would say to someone that can be a kind word. I think in this day and age, we hear a lot of, bad words and negativity, but if we could just focus on kind words, if only for a few minutes, I think we could get along a lot better. The instrumentals are what intrigue me a lot. As much as I like to write lyrics, I do like, instrumentals. And I think the instrumental causes the listener to kind of put their own spin on what the story is and what that song could mean to them. And so I like creating that for the audience. I hope the audience feel a little bit better than they did when they came in. Sometimes people just need something to kind of lift their spirits or uplift them a little bit. So I just hope that what I do can be that therapy for them for that short amount of time that we're together. Sometimes I have to remind myself that it's not for me, it's for what I do is for everyone else. So I don't take it lightly, I take it really seriously. I love for music to make people feel good and have a good time. So in that, I'm very passionate about my presentation of it, and I want it to be the best that I can do for everyone. I think music is universal. I don't think it binds people by any one thing or the other. I think it's just, you know, this is music. It's the one thing we can all have in common. You know, we may not agree on certain other things, on religion or politics, but, you know, if someone hears a song, they're pretty much going to stop and we all can clap together and we can all tap our feet together. So I think it kind of gives us something that we can share together. I think you show the world how Detroit performs by giving your all, really delving into your creative work and just giving it what you've got, and just be yourself. I think the biggest thing we can do as artists is just to be ourselves. There are a lot of templates on what you should do and how you should do it, but I think being from Detroit, we are all originals and we don't really follow the cookie cutter process of what music or art should be. So I think if we continue down the path of just being our creative selves, I think the world will look at us and try to duplicate what we're doing.
What's up, guys? I am here with Geno Harris, who is the managing gallerist here at the Carr Center. How you doing, Geno?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. So this is a brand new location for the Carr Center.
Yes,
so how did you end up here and why?
Well, actually, we used to be located in Harmony Park, and through different changes within the city, we had to find us another space, and we lucked out being a part of the Quicken Loan and Bedrock family, and now we're here.
So tell me about some of the exhibitions you guys have here.
Well, currently we're in the middle of the exhibition called The Collective Experiment, and I co-curated this with Anna Scott from Things Feel Heavy. And the idea behind this exhibition was to gather two groups of artists that have two different mindsets as opposed to creating art. And we decided to put them together in one space, let them express themselves, and to try to find out what the differences and the similarities are with the different approaches to the same idea.
Mm-hmm. And how do you choose artists to come here and be featured?
Well, it's not really a choosing, if you will. The Carr Center is here to support artists who have an idea or a desire to exhibit their work where they might not have been able to do in different galleries. So we have a process which is called our Artist Hub program, and artists are asked to fill this form out, tell us what their idea is behind an exhibition, and if we have room in the calendar, we try to support them, give them maybe a month or two to exhibit their work. And that's our process. It's not really a juried effort, if you will. It's more of a support system for local artists here in Detroit.
And what's the response been like from the downtown community here?
Oh my God, it's been amazing since day one. We moved here in August and we have really been nonstop. Exhibition after exhibition, performance after performance. We have some things lined up that will just knock you guys out the water.
All right, so as I mentioned before, this is a brand new location.
Yes, sir.
So what are the other locations and what happens there?
Well, we work out of First Congregational Church. We have some jazz performances there. The Garden Theater, we do some live performances there. We do our exhibitions here and some live performances here. And we also do some performances at St. Anne's Church in Southwest Detroit. And also Christ Church Cranbrook.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so Geno, one last question. What's your favorite part about working here at the Carr Center?
Being able to reach out to the artists with whom I worked with before. I'm the director of an artist collective that I helped establish back in 2003, where I worked with a lot of emerging artists, and I've been reaching out to the community of artists that I know, getting them involved in some of the programs that we have going on here, and that is the thing that I like the most, is that I can give back to the community that embraced me.
Absolutely, well said. Glad to hear that. Thank you, Geno.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
taking
much.
the time
I
to talk to
appreciate
us,
you.
man.
Thank you.
All right, now let's check out some upcoming events happening in and around the D. The annual Conga Caliente Festival in Tampa, Florida invites the community to experience art and music of Latino culture. We joined this year's gathering at Lopez Park.
Conga Caliente came about as a request from Mayor Pam Iorio in 2004. She was interested in making sure that there was a nice quality event that represented the Hispanic community.
Conga Caliente, or an event like this, it allows a community, and not only the Latino community, but everyone out there to come and experience what's so ingrained in our culture, which is music, obviously, salsa music, in particular, and allows other people to come and experience that, get to know your neighbors. And for us, it's great fun. The ability to be able to come with my family and enjoy this type of event, and also be part of something that other communities and other races and ethnicities are enjoying is a win-win for everyone.
We started this event with a good feeling of community, and we have worked real hard to keep it as a free event. The reason why that's important is because it allows for family units to come together to the event and celebrate, if nothing else, a day at the park.
The engine that drives me is creativity. I love to see an idea go from the ethereal to a CD, from my mind to people's mouth where they're singing my songs. I think that as artists, and now this goes beyond just being Latino, I think just artists in general, we move the world, right? Today when we think of the Renaissance period or the classical period, and we go way back, we don't remember who the president of but we do remember Beethoven, we remember Mozart, we remember Rachmaninoff, we remember all those great composers and the great painters, Picasso, Salvador Dali, because I think art and culture is what moves things forward. And it's such a pleasure to belong to that community of everlasting impressions in the world.
Siempre estamos pendientes a que se repita el show y le agradecemos a la gente de Conga Caliente.
Esto hace que la juventud se salga un poco del problema en que vivimos.
The one thing that really ties us together is that we're celebrating Hispanic arts and culture in the United States. And that's important because that's really what brings us together here, is that everybody's in the United States. First generation, second generation, multi-generation. But it's why it's important to be an inclusive event, which it is, and it's beautiful.
And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. As always, for more arts and culture, head to DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on coming arts events. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to thank the Carr Center Gallery for having us out here today. I'm sure they would love to see you in this place too. So come on down to Detroit and check out this place for yourself, as well as all the other Carr Center locations. Until next Tuesday, get out there and show the world how Detroit performs, y'all. I'm DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.